Is getting sort of more money. I know you said you didn't take the partnership with Machinima, but in the future, obviously you don't want to. It's not all about making money, but is getting more money to sort of balance out what you're taking in and what you're spending out. Is that something that you're looking to do?
Bottom line is we enjoy doing the show, so regardless of us making enough money or not, we still would do it. But
Okay.
the second goal here is to make enough just to pay for the show. So I mean, we're when we do the news show, which might be daily, the news show might be daily, which is kind of scares the shit out of me. But
Yeah.
um, we're going to really ramp up how many videos we put out. We might go back to 3 reviews a week in October and the news show
Okay.
and debates. I might make this my full-time gig, so we might be filming every day, putting stuff up, getting more involved, um,
Yeah. So it does
doing
sound.
live shows.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does sound like you're gonna have to do that. Is that's gonna become a full-time thing for you?
Yeah, for me it will. Mike, not so much because he has a full-time job that he does. But I'll be able to, I will definitely be able to do it for the next 6, 7 months over the winter. So we're going to, basically, this is sort of a make or break for 3KB. Like it's not going to get, we'll never have an opportunity like this again. So the
Yeah.
Machinima deal, um, I mean, I guess I could, I'm not supposed to really talk about what they offered, but essentially what we're making now would have been doubled like
Oh,
overnight.
okay.
But um, I just, we just didn't feel it. You know what I mean? It was just a
Yeah. Yeah.
matter of, plus I think the fans that we have now, I mean, I consider them to be my friends, not just fans of the show. And
Yeah.
I think to join that network would be sort of a stab in their back. I don't really,
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, that's really
yeah.
refreshing to hear that that you've even turned down the offer when I know a lot of YouTube channels would have sort of jumped to the offer, and that sounds great that
Oh,
you're sort
they,
of staying true to the fans and stuff like that.
well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, to me, it was a difficult decision because it would have helped. It would have helped us big
Yeah,
time.
sure.
But um, I can't get past the fact that the 20,000 subs we have now would sort of feel let down. I just couldn't, even though say we all of a sudden had another 80,000 join the channel, I just don't feel that that would be us. I feel like it would just. I'd always feel bad about that forever. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't. We couldn't do it. But I think it's also important to say that we're getting big enough to say that it is a business. So it is still about money in a
Yeah.
certain regard. So
Yeah.
the support that we get from the fans is very appreciative.
Okay. And is it sometimes you said before that you're almost worried about the channel getting too big. So how do you sort of strike the balance between sort of growing the channel as a business and trying to keep it a community based channel?
Well, to be honest, I probably put 3 or 4 hours into the channel a day. Mike does the editing, but I do more of the. I would say I'm the producer. He's more of the editor.
Okay.
And I spend a lot more time taking messages and answering them. Well, not to say he doesn't. He definitely messages a ton of people on Facebook and all over the place, especially on the channel. He's been doing that more than I have. But
Yeah.
in regards to keep talking to the fans, doing live shows, and keeping them sort of interactive with the show and getting to know them, I would say out of the three of us, I definitely do that the most. And that's not to say that they don't want to. It's because they have actual jobs.
Yeah. So
So
this is something that you can. Uh, are you the one when you as you move forward? Are they gonna become more involved in the fan interaction or? Uh,
well, I could say that Mike definitely will because we'll be living in the same house and we do plan to actually do game nights with live shows going on and whatnot. Um, but I mean, to answer your question in the beginning, how do we sort of, stay at the level we're at
yeah.
and interactive? To be honest, it's getting to the point now where I feel a little bit overwhelmed once in a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't really imagine what it'll be like at 40,000. I think the most important thing here is that the fans know that even if we hit 60,000 subs, that we won't change. We're still the same channel. So it's
Yeah.
not, yes, we would like that because we'd make more money and in turn, more money would help the show because we do have some serious plans coming up that are going to require money. But, um, that's probably the hardest thing about being an independent YouTube channel is you have these great ideas and you want to interact with the fans, but unfortunately, to do that, it costs money. For
Yeah.
instance, to do a live show like there's a channel like I mentioned earlier, Video Games Awesome, and they do a live show that's just incredible. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
Yeah, yeah, I've watched it a couple of times.
yeah, they're on the couch there and they're doing like real time blue screen and all this stuff. And I've talked to him about how much money it costs, and like he has literally two MacBook computers running that. Then he has two iMacs and two Mac Pros towers all running at the same time to basically get that show going,
Yeah.
which is like over
Yeah,
$10,000
it's a lot of
easily,
money, yeah.
which he's invested in, you know. So it's a big investment, and unfortunately, we don't have that sort of backing. So it's sort of we're starting the opposite way and growing as we go. Um, so yes, I mean, over the next couple of months, we will need to probably get some new equipment because my Mac that I'm using is pretty much dying, and
Yeah.
Mike's is almost dead. So yes, it's going to cost us money, and that's why we, you know, really appreciate the support that the show gives us. But um, it becomes a fine line because for the live shows that we do, we've been offered sort of a sponsorship with Ustream, and I could actually charge people to watch those live shows, say
Yeah.
like a dollar for 3 hours or whatever it would be. I mean, I think that the fans that we have are very understanding, and if we ever did a one live show per month that was a paid live show,
Yeah.
I don't think we would get a lot of flack for that because people would, you know, like to help us out. But that, you know, that's the difference between us and a gigantic show. If a gigantic show did that, you know, they'd probably make a lot of money off of that, but a lot of people would hate on them for that
Yeah.
fact. Because at that point, when you become that big, you don't need that money, that extra money, you know.
Yeah.
So it really is a fine line between us wanting to become bigger because of the money so we can offer more to the fans, but then we're going to have the burden of actually handling all of those fans. But again, I still think that we'll do it and we'll do it pretty good.
Okay, and in terms of the money again, I know in the past you've looked for donations from fans. I remember the 3DS, there was a donation fund, and also to get a PC as well. And I guess the fans, you got a good response from the fans. Is that something that you'd be looking forward to again? Because I know you don't want to like it's not the same as sort of charging the fans if you're asking for donations, and I think your fan base seemed quite willing to sort of donate that. So is that something you're gonna do again in the future, do you think?
Basically, when it comes to the donations, I've always felt that I can understand why people want to help out the show, but again, it really goes down to the fact that we're just three normal people that happen to have a camera and talk about video games.
Yeah.
And I mean, in one regard, we've spent a lot of money to entertain the fans, and I feel fine accepting money, but I mean, I've come up with sort of a program that when people donate to us, I sort of still feel kind of bad about it, so I still give back to them.
Yeah.
In regards to my music, I usually, if anyone donates, they usually get all of my albums for free, which is, you know, $30 right there.
Yeah.
So I still have that sort of that lingering feeling of just feeling bad taking a donation, but then again. A lot of fans, the response has been just overwhelming. They like for the 3DS, we didn't actually even pay for the 3DS; they paid for it,
Yeah.
and um, everybody that donated got my music for free. And anytime that we do like a 3DS review on the channel, we always thank them at the
Yeah.
end of the review. So it's sort of if you know we're open to it again, but I mean, I still kind of feel a little bit weird about it. It's not like, you know, we definitely need a new MacBook Pro for sure to do the show, and I mean that money's got to come from somewhere. But I don't. It's not like we're sitting around thinking like, oh, we got to do another donation thing. But I mean, in a way, I probably could do a 5-day live stream to raise money for the MacBook Pro, and I know that a lot of the fans would definitely help us out.
Yeah. And you said a couple of times sort of maybe a bit overwhelmed at times by the amount of support. Does it seem sort of surreal to you, sort of how fast or how big you've grown from just how you started off and where you are now? Does that ever feel surreal to you?
Well, I think, yeah, it definitely does. It's still, after almost 2 years, has not really set in. I really don't feel like people make me out to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I sometimes talk to some of the fans, and they sound like they're nervous and like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
talking to some sort of superstar. But to me, it just doesn't make sense yet.
yeah.
Um, there's actually a story I like to tell. Is there's this guy named Ross who watches our show, and he actually lives down the street from where the old studio was. And I just happened to be outside, and he almost crashed his bike because he saw me. And he came up to me, and he was kind of it was kind of cool. He had like a little it was like pouring rain. He had a plastic bag full of PS2 games, and I guess he was grabbing them from his friend. He was probably about 14 years old, and he was just literally shaking. Like, he was actually shaking. I could
Yeah.
physically see him shaking when he was talking to me. He was just scared, and I just couldn't grasp the idea that people would feel that way about me one day. It was just like, it doesn't really. It hasn't set in. So I've been spotted probably about 6 times
Yeah.
in Toronto, and each time that it happens, I'm still sort of baffled that it's happened.
And do you think it will ever set in for you, sort of how big the channel gets and
Um,
how sort of dedicated the fans are?
no, no, I don't think so. I think what's happening is, as we get bigger, I'm actually becoming probably a little bit more happy to meet those fans.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was kind of a little bit embarrassed about it. I don't know why, but now I love meeting fans on the street. Like, for instance, that Ross guy, I think I gave him a T-shirt and some other stuff when he was outside of the studio. I mean, I like to meet them and talk to them, because that's what the show's about to me now. It's not really about just this one-sided entertainment show that you can watch and not be interactive. It's become sort of back to the original idea of being a community. So I love meeting people now.